Hey there, guys. So, for some reason, I talk about how I love discussing the topic of Mandarin Chinese to you guys, but I actually haven't exclusively made any lessons on this channel about Mandarin. So, I really wanted to get into that. So, to start, I figured that tones would be the most important thing to go with. I talked about this in one of my prior vlogs, but again, I wanted to make this part of an exclusive Chinese series. So here we go. We have four major tones. I will get into what I consider to be the fifth, actually, just in a little bit. But the first one is a high flat tone. So I will be using the term ma to express my pronunciation for each tone. Now for the first tone, it's a high flat tone. So it's like ma. For the second tone, it's a rising tone. So it's as if you're asking like a question. So ma. So the third tone I could probably best express as being a dipping of your pitch, which is to sound like ma. As for the fourth, it's just an easy, simple falling tone. So ma. Now let's get into the meanings of each of these pronunciations, because after all, when you change the tone of a term in Mandarin Chinese, it actually changes likewise the definition. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. For the first tone, ma, that is directly saying mother in a rather rudimentary way, but that's a way you can say it, right? The more formal version of mother, just so you're aware, is muqin, muqin. But in any case, we're not getting into that yet. Okay, for the second tone, for the rising tone, sounds like ma. So that is actually technically hemp. The third tone, ma, is horse. So beginners could actually say horse when they intend to say mother. So it could be a little iffy there. But the thing about Chinese people, in my experience anyways, is that they're very forgiving. So I wouldn't worry about screwing any of these tones up if you plan on practicing any of this to your Chinese friends or anyone you meet that can speak this language. Now for the fourth tone, ma. This means to verbally abuse or to curse. Actually, if I'm honest, I haven't reviewed any profanity in Mandarin, so I don't know how to curse. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. If any of you guys know anything, I'd love to learn. As for the secret fifth tone that I was talking about, that is actually a neutral tone, so it doesn't really have any visual to it. Literally, when you write it out, you don't put a tone on top of the vowel. It's simply the word by itself, the pinyin, which, by the way, is the phonetic language of Mandarin. I will expand upon that in a future video. For now, what you need to focus on is that there are five basic tones, I believe. Four tones, really, because the fifth tone is pretty easy for us. When saying ma, it's kind of like the fourth tone, not a huge difference, to be honest. But in this case, ma, as its neutral form, is actually made it into a question particle. So when you say hello, ni hao, that's like saying you good, kind of as a statement. But when you say ni hao ma, it becomes a question, so you ask the person if they're good, right? So that's a different kind of greeting. And so the ma there is neutral, so you don't have to worry about pronunciation so much as the other tones, in my opinion. I believe that should be it, guys. I really hope this helped. I promised a viewer of mine that in my next video I would talk about how to make friends and potentially get like a girlfriend or something like that. So that is something I'm gonna be discussing very soon. So I hope you guys stick around for that, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace. By the way, if you're wondering how I got the shot for this video, I used a hole puncher and a ruler, and I weighed them down with a stapler and a tape dispenser, and I put the camera down like so you could get like a proper view, get a proper overshot here. So anyways, all things considered, I'm glad that this apparatus actually worked out for me. Alright guys, see you soon.